Drove car at night while heavily drunk plus without license. Hi all. I know the title sounds pretty bad, but I would like to give some context. I, 21M, live in a pretty busy city center of a big city in Europe. I still live at home with my dad and sister, 23F. My sister has a driver's license and uses my dad's car quite a lot. I don't have my license yet, but I have been practicing with my dad and with a driving tutor. I have probably been behind a wheel for 5 hours max in my life. I went out to drink with my friends in the city. We went to multiple bars and kept drinking very much until we couldn't find a bar that was still open at the time, probably around 4 a.m. Because it was a Monday, all the bars were closed at that time. We were all insanely drunk at the end of the evening. I just remember I puked in a bar's toilet and then I called it a night and said my friends
Created with
goodbye.
free version for non-commercial use.
Anyways, I walked home and I saw our dad's car parked in front of our house with the 2 right side wheels parked on the curb. My dad was on vacation for a week still, so I knew just me and my sister were at home, and that my sister parked it wrong like that. At this point, I was extremely drunk. I can barely remember how I walked home that night. But in my drunken state, I had the urge to park the car correctly. I stumble inside my house and see the car keys on a table in the hallway. I take them, and sneak back outside and go inside the car. I start the car, my drunken mind was telling me like, why don't you go make one small tour around the block, just for fun and giggles. I am really hyped about getting my license soon, and in my country, you can only drive without a license if you are being tutored by a parent or by driving school. It's not allowed to drive alone. If you get caught driving alone without license and drunk,
Created
you
with
probably
free version
will
for
never be allowed
non-commercial
to
use.
get a license. Also, my parents are very strict in general, and always told me to never drive after you have drunk alcohol. Or drive alone before I officially have my license. They also always say stuff like, drinking and driving is one of the most asshole things you can do because you're not only putting yourself in danger, but also others. I think the fact that I shouldn't be doing that, alone without license plus drunk, made it even more exciting and appealing for my drunk brain. I remember arriving back home and putting on the handbrake. Next thing I know, I wake up in my bed, super hungover. Then a picture of me driving around flashes in my mind and I get the worst panic attack I have ever had in my life. I run outside, almost puking because the thought of what I did made me feel nauseous, and that I could have potentially wrecked my dad's expensive car, or could have hurt someone without me even remembering it. The car is nowhere to be seen and I remember my
Created
sister
with
must
free
have
version
used
for
it to get to
non-commercial
work.
use.
I keep panicking the whole day and feeling like shit. On the other side, if something were to have gone wrong that night, my sister would have seen that the car was damaged and woken me up and asked me WTF I did when she left for work in the morning. But because that didn't happen, and she let me sleep all the way until noon, I assumed I didn't hit anything. When she came home from work that evening, she didn't mention anything about the car or anything, so I guess all good. For me though, this was a pretty hefty experience and I have been losing a lot of sleep over it. I also haven't been drinking since. I feel like a terrible person and someone who could have potentially ruined someone's life. Every time I leave or arrive at my home and see the car in front of our house, I panicked and relive the whole night, and flashes of me driving around wasted flash before my eyes. I can feel my heart pound in my chest and all I can think about for the next hour is what could have happened and that I am some kind of monster.
Created with free version for
I feel like
non-commercial
a
use.
shitty and dangerous person. I too had the belief that all drunk drivers are assholes and mentally fucked up. And suddenly I feel like I am one of them. The worst part for me is that I don't even know why I did it. And I'm scared if I come home drunk again, my drunk brain will tell me to do it again for the thrill of it or something. I do often have self-destructive tendencies when I am drunk, but never before to this level. I guess that's beside the point anyways. I really do hate my actions and I hope that never happens again, but I am still so paranoid and get panicked every time I think about that night, or every tea.